Romania is another hidden gem that is perfect for digital nomads that would like to travel outside of the hype of Bali and Thailand, but are looking for breathtaking nature and a very affordable cost of living. It offers fast internet, beautiful landscapes, great hiking and outdoor opportunities, impressive mountains, and beautiful beaches by the Black Sea. A big metropole, and it is really easily and cheaply reached from any major city in Europe. Just like the rest of the region, it is also steeped in fascinating and very eventful history that has left its mark on the architecture, the customs, and the food. Oh, and if you are a driving enthusiast, Romania is home to the best road in the world, at least according to Top Gear.
We were wrong! This is better than the Stelvio! This is the best road in the world!
Plus, for digital nomads who prefer to travel slow, it also offers a digital nomad visa that will allow you to stay for up to 12 months. So let's dive into this fascinating country and see if it might be the next digital nomad fit for you. We will cover the digital nomad infrastructure that you need for your lifestyle, where to go, where to meet other digital nomads, what to do as a tourist, and of course the visa options. As always, the timestamps as well as links to activities and such that I mentioned are linked down below in the description, so you can jump back and forth and find all necessary resources there. Romania is a country in southeastern Europe. It is the 12th largest country in Europe and the 6th most populous member state of the European Union. Its neighbors are Bulgaria, Serbia, Hungary, Ukraine, and Moldova. It also borders the Black Sea to the southeast. While it is part of the EU, it is, at least for now, not yet part of the Schengen zone, which makes it a perfect destination to wait out your Schengen clock. Its capital is Budapest. Most people do not know much, if anything at all, about Romania. But the things it is most famous for are the beautiful and impressive Carpathian mountains. And of course, the region of Transylvania. Yes, Romania is the home of Dracula, but it is so much more than that too. You can also discover beautiful, fairy tale-like medieval villages and castles, and tour and taste your way through beautiful wineries. Romania is one of the largest and oldest wine producers in the world. The craft here dates back over 6,000 years. Like the entire region, Romania too has a very turbulent history that dates back millennia. Most of the biggest powers of their time tried to invade Romania, and all of them have left their stamp on the country. The Romans, the Ottomans, the Soviet Union, each have left an imprint behind in terms of architecture, food, and culture. Even more important for understanding Romania is its recent history. Until 1989, Romania was ruled by a communist dictator. What makes Romania quite unique, though, is that it is the only communist country in Europe that actually executed its leader. His name was Nicolae Ceausescu, and he aimed to build a cult around his person, as he had seen happen in China. Romania's economy was suffering greatly under his rule, and people lived in stark fear of his all-seeing internal security agency, the Securitate. By the 1980s, things like electricity, hot water, or television were only available for a couple of hours a day, and people had to wait in long queues to buy simple goods like bread or fruit. The magnitude of the grandiosity of Ceausescu is clearly visible in the videos online of his last speech. While he is holding the speech, people in the audience are starting to shout obscenities at him and, show their discontent. First a few, and then emboldened by that, more and more. And you can clearly see in his face the absolute disbelief and how he doesn't understand what the people's problem is. This was his last speech. He tries to flee the scene and shortly afterwards is captured. A couple of days later, him and his wife were charged with genocide, abuse of political power, and economic damage of the nation, and were executed. The uprising itself turned into a full-blown revolution that overthrew the communist regime within 10 days. Unfortunately, the next person in power was Ceausescu's right-hand man, who ruled until 2000. So, after this quick history lesson, let's look at some practical travel tips. Romania's weather is continental, meaning relatively hot summers. Keep in mind that in many places in Europe, air condition is rather unusual. And snowy cold winters. So the perfect time to travel here very much depends on your travel plans. Hiking, skiing, swimming in the Black Sea. The language is Romanian, but as everywhere in the entire region, particularly younger people are quite capable of speaking English, and you should have no problem communicating in at least the bigger cities. Now, on the countryside, where this might be less common, you can always use Google Translate or just, try to communicate with hands and feet and pointing at things. Romania, though part of the EU, has its own currency, the Romanian lei. $1 currently equals 4.6 Romanian lei. While paying by card is possible and common in the bigger cities, remember to bring cash while traveling on the countryside. When it comes to digital nomad infrastructure and things you as a digital nomad need to live your lifestyle in Romania, you will find Romania very well prepared. The internet connection in Romania is fantastic. It is actually one of the fastest in Europe. In the bigger cities, you will find Wi-Fi in cafes and of course co-working spaces. On the countryside, hotspotting with your phone or a mobile modem are great options. When it comes to tourism infrastructure, you should know that Romania is a vast country. Like I stated earlier, it is the 12th largest country in Europe. So getting from one end to the other will take some time. When first arriving in Romania, you will probably be landing in Bucharest. Flights from every major European city land here. To get around in the country, you have a couple of options. You could take the train. Train rides are, in my opinion at least, always a great way to see lots of the country. They also tend to be relatively cheap and give you the opportunity to get some work done on the way. That being said, there is one thing left to mention. Romania's trains are very, very slow. Like in many other European countries, you can choose between intercity, interregional and regional trains, with intercity being the fastest and the most comfortable. Due to the slow trains, hiring a car might be a really good way to get around. As always, I have left links to travel resources like car rentals, accommodations and activities I talk about in the travel resource section of the description. Feel free to check them out. So, anyways, going on a road trip might be a great way to experience a lot of the country. After all, Romania is home to the greatest road in the world. At least, according to Top Gear's Jeremy Clarkson. The roads are generally in good condition and renting a car is affordable and gives you freedom to stop and explore wherever you like. Alternatively, you could travel overland using the bus system. They connect the entire country and are an affordable though slow way to travel. In the bigger cities, your options are public transport, taxis or Uber. The public transport is very inexpensive and consists of buses and trams. Bucharest also has a subway. Taxis are also a valid option, but make sure that the meter is running before you get in. It is a common scam with tourists to not put the meter on and then ask for an extortionate price afterward. When it comes to finding a place to stay, you can find all sorts of inexpensive accommodation in Romania, from super affordable hostels and Airbnbs to cute, rustic guest houses on the countryside. For longer stays, as in if you plan to stay 6 months or longer in one location, I always recommend renting an apartment because it's the cheapest option. Your best bet to find something if you don't speak Romanian is via, for example, expat Facebook groups. Let's talk a bit about the cost of living in Romania. How much will your daily life cost here? As I said, the cost of living is significantly lower than in many other European countries. My numbers always come from Numbeo, because Numbeo is a crowdsourced platform and therefore has relatively up-to-date and relevant prices. And as always, I've translated all prices to US dollars because to me it seems like the most comparable currency for everyone watching. An inexpensive meal will cost you an average $7.52. A cappuccino will cost you $2.03. A monthly transport pass will cost you $17.23. Taxi starting cost is 65 cents, and 1 kilometer taxi ride will cost you 62 cents. Waiting in traffic for an hour in the cab will cost you $5.82. Basic utilities per month for an 85 square meter apartment will cost approximately $126 US. Internet will cost $8.29 per month. A one-bedroom apartment in the city center would cost you $366 US per month, whereas a one-bedroom apartment outside of the city center would cost you $266 US per month. Keep in mind that these numbers are averages for the entire country, meaning it's going to be more expensive in the bigger cities and cheaper in the villages. When it comes to where to set up shop, Bucharest, the capital, is probably a really good spot to start. It is the largest city of Romania with about 1.7 million inhabitants, which makes it one of the biggest cities in the European Union. It is also known as Little Paris and is the city where you will find the biggest digital nomad and expat community and the best infrastructure for digital nomads. You will, for example, find plenty of co-working spaces where you can work and connect with like-minded people and grow your network. Bucharest is the Romanian hub for IT companies and startups, which makes it a great place for you to connect with the innovative minds of the country if you want to. Bucharest has a very well-developed public transport system, which will allow you to get around in the city inexpensively, particularly if you purchase a monthly pass. It offers everything you would expect from a metropole. Museums, shopping malls, bars, restaurants, and great nightlife. Head to the Old Town for the best bars and clubs, or to just wander the streets and marvel at the stunning architecture that gave Bucharest the name Little Paris. Most digital nomads will choose to live central, for example in the vicinity of the Old Town, as this places them close to everything they need for their lifestyle. However, the prices in the center are of course more expensive. Things to visit in Bucharest include the parliament built by Ceausescu. The building very much reflects the megalomaniac tendencies of the former president, and it is the heaviest building and the largest administrative building in the world. You can tour the building for a small entrance fee. If you are on the historical trail already, check out Revolution Square. This is the place where Ceausescu held his last speech and his reign was brought to an end by the people of Romania. For some green space amidst the bustling city, head to Cismigiu Gardens, Bucharest's oldest and biggest park. If you walk to the middle of the park, you can sit by a large and beautiful artificial lake with a cup of coffee and a good book, or just to people watch. Making Bucharest your base has the benefit that it isn't far to a variety of day trip locations. If you wish to spend some time in nature, you can reach both the mountains and the seaside relatively easily. One very special place to visit is Slanic Prahova salt mine, Europe's biggest salt mine, about 100 kilometers north of Bucharest. While there's no more salt extraction going on here, it is open for visitors, and wandering the gigantic underground rooms reminds distinctly of Tolkien's Mine of Moria. The air in the mine is supposed to have healing properties for pulmonary diseases such as chronic bronchitis, and there are rest areas for visitors to hang out for a while. There are also areas to play table tennis and playground equipment for children. Romania has several salt mines, and I will introduce an even more impressive one, the Turda salt mine, in the Things to Do section. The other two cities that are popular with digital nomads are Cluj Napoca and Timisoara. Cluj Napoca is Romania's second largest city and another great hub for digital nomads. It's a university town full of students, bustling with life, bars, restaurants, clubs and cafes, where you can get some work done. But not only that, history lovers can also visit the many historical churches and even quite a few Roman ruins. Cluj Napoca, which has also been under Hungarian and Saxon rule, is known for its beautiful architecture and historical landmarks. And it has an airport, making it easy for you to travel to and from there. Timisoara. Timisoara is the largest city in western Romania and the third largest city in the country. It will also be crowned European Capital of Culture in 2023, which has been postponed from 2021. It too has an airport. Particularly its car-free Old Town area is very popular. Its colorful buildings and the beautiful vibe of this city, which offers all the digital nomad infrastructure, including co-working spaces, might be just to your taste. Well, now that we've hopefully found a base for you where you can set up shop in Romania, let's talk about some other things to do. Because I assume you don't only want to work, you also want to learn and discover more of this beautiful country. For a trip back to medieval times and to feel like you were in a fairy tale, visit the beautiful little town of Sighisoara, which is one of the most beautiful and best preserved medieval towns in Europe. It features beautiful cobblestone alleys, so bring comfy shoes, and even more beautiful colorful houses. For more historic sites, head to Bucovina. This is where you will find some of the most famous painted monasteries. These monasteries are painted top to bottom, inside and out, and just absolutely stunning artworks. They date back to the 15th and 16th century. And of course, I suppose you can't visit Romania without visiting Bran Castle, one of Romania's 250 historic castles and home to the fictional character of Count Dracula in Transylvania, or as it is called today, Brasov. The castle is a museum showcasing beautiful handcrafted furniture and tapestries, among other things. The area has much more on offer than just Bran Castle, however. You have plenty of beautiful outdoor activities you can embark on here, like hiking the absolutely fantastic Carpathian mountains. For more fun underground, consider visiting the Turda salt mine that I had mentioned earlier. Turda city is one of the oldest and most important settlements in Romania, and you could stay there if you wanted to visit the salt mine, which has enough salt that it could cover the salt requirements for the entire planet for 60 years. If it were necessary, that is. The salt remained when the sea that covered the area evaporated. Nowadays, the mine is very popular with tourists, offering several attractions. A mini amusement park with the world's only underground Ferris wheel, mini golf, bowling, billiard, and more. You can even take a boat ride on the underground lake. If you'd rather spend some time by the sea, head to Constanta at the shores of the Black Sea in southeastern Romania. Its long history dates back over 2,000 years, and aside from enjoying some time by the beach, you can learn more about the area in the Natural History and Archaeological Museum. The Great Mahmudiyye Mosque is also worth a visit. For train enthusiasts, if you are into trains, or more importantly, a once-in-a-lifetime steam train ride, you are in luck. Travel to the small town of Visoi de Sus in northern Romania. From here, the last steam train in Europe, which is used to transport timber for the forestry industry, makes its way through the mountain every day, and it takes passengers along too. Trek the Carpathian Mountains. The Carpathian Mountains are the third longest mountain range in Europe, after the Urals and the Scandinavian mountains, and a very beautiful hiking spot. If you would like to go on a multi-day trek, consider going along the main ridge of the Fargaras, the highest mountains in the southern Carpathians. The route will allow you to trek 3 of Romania's highest peaks. The most used access point to these mountains is the Transfargarsan Highway that I mentioned earlier. So if you're not much for hiking but enjoy cars, this is another way to experience the area.
That's the most amazing road I've ever seen. But from above, it looks like every great corner from every great racetrack in the world has been knitted together to create one unbroken grey ribbon of automotive perfection.
Taking you past incredible scenery, beautiful glacier lakes, and if you are lucky, you might even spot a brown bear or two. The highway is only open from June to December due to the potentially dangerous weather conditions. Romania is such a vast country and there are so many more things to discover. Villages to visit, mountain treks to hike, monasteries to admire. It would blow the scope of this video, but I hope I have had the possibility and opportunity to raise a little bit of interest for this country, so that if you decide to come here, you can always do a little more research by yourself. Now, let's talk about how you can actually come to this country. What are the visa options? Well, the first one, as always, is a tourist visa, which is your easiest option. A tourist visa will allow you to come to Romania for up to 90 days, and depending on your passport, you can either just arrive, or you can get a visa on arrival, or you are going to have to go to a Romanian embassy. Check this video up here if you would like to know more about the difference or the different benefits between a tourist visa and a digital nomad visa or a long stay visa. If you wish to stay for longer than 90 days, however, you can apply for the digital nomad visa, which allows you to stay in the country for up to 12 months and can be extended. To be able to attain it, you will have to be able to work remotely and you will have to earn 3 times Romanian average salary. In October, this was $1,392 times 3. But keep in mind that average salaries can rise. So depending on when you watch this video, double check what the average salary requirement is at that point. You will have to prove this by providing bank statements that go back at least 6 months. You will also need a valid passport, health insurance, proof of accommodation, and a clean criminal record. Because Romania won't charge you any taxes, which is a great benefit of this visa, particularly for people who come from a country like America, where you're being charged no matter where you're based, more or less, I assume. You will also need an apostilled, so legalized document saying that you have paid taxes in your home country and that you're not wanted for tax fraud. You will also need proof of your travel plans and a letter of intention that states your travel plans and the activities you plan to undertake while in Romania. Keep in mind that you won't be allowed to work for local companies or clients, so to not take away jobs from the local job market. The average response time is about 2 weeks. If you are interested in this beautiful region, but you haven't really made up your mind on a country yet, check out last week's video about Bulgaria or catch next week's video about Hungary. With that said, thanks so much for your time. Keep exploring this beautiful planet of ours, and I'll see you here in the next one. Bye bye.